I'm Robin William. You are on for CS250. I'm going to explain web technology second experiment. Here is my coding. In that body tag, I'm using a div. In a div tag, I'm using a class page. So in the page, it's a center div. I'm using a div ID d1. So it's a specific. I'm using an ID called d1. So I'm using a image source. It's a logo of that image. So image source hppng. I'm using a called a Havlet packet. So it will come. H1 means the letter size, and I'm using another called div class navigation. So nav means navigation bar. So I'm going to use a list items. So here I'm using another list. So I'm using some list items. Hrefers means it will click means it will go to the home page of the HP, and accessories and supports. And here I'm using an input type. So input type is a text name search placeholder. So I'm using a search box. So I'm close it. I'm another called I'm using a table class mid. In that mid I'm using some paragraph. Okay, in that paragraph it's a called p1 id. I'm using id p1. So I'm using some paragraph here. So on then I'm using a row span. Row span means it will divide a page. So it will the next page. Okay, off of the page it will be the paragraph. Another off of the page will my video will become. So here I'm using video control autoplay loop. So when I refresh the page, it will go directly autoplay the video. Here is my source. So it is my videos. And here I'm using a audio tag. So this is a audio control. So I'm using some audios. So here my audio sound. Here I'm using some table class footer. So here is my at last my footer page. It will contain like this and my tables. Okay, here I'm using some tables. So here is a table field class f1. So I'm using a class f1. In that contact list address link 1, address link 2, and address link 2. So there are 3 links and list. There are 5 lists. Some of that, some mail id to phone number. If my mail id should be at gmail.com, so then only my mail id will come, and my mobile number is that. So another I'm using a form. So in that time form field set class f1. A legend login here I'm used. So like a legend means the margin of that my form. So here I'm using input type text username placeholder username password login as I got. So if it is not entered mean it will go to that another page. So here I'm using an iframe. So this is my navigation, where is my HP center is there. So I'm going to see can. So iframe source this is my, it will show that my Google page. Here my next one Google next page page 2. If it not registered means it will come here. So this is my div catch class page. So this is my Havlet backyard. I'm using that. I'm a form auction. I'm using some form div field sector and div. Here I'm using some div class icon first name, and I'm using that first name, enter the middle name and last name, and my date of birth. That's all be there, and my gender is also there. I'm using a label. Okay, label for male. So input I'm using input tag, also input radio button I'm used it here. So male, female, and other. Here I'm using center of that table. I'm using that progress. So in that progress I will ask that address city state. I'm using some div class function here, tag here to identify. So here class is called icall. So here my text area, I mean the text area placeholder address here, and input type I'm used here some options, and select option. In state I'm using some options here. So others Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Kerala, Punjab is there. In the state I'm using some options here, and here I'm using the pin code input. Simply I'm putting here, and here my maximum value, which means that progress value means is a telephone, mobile, email, websites also here. And here my education list. So qualification I'm using a table. Here my qualification board. Here I'm using a table function. So the board, university, country, starting year, ending year, and a percentage. And another column I'm using my mark sheet, 10th mark sheet and placeholder, where I studied my text board. That is my values and my list of that city here. And here my I'm using that's values. Here I'm using a checkbox. In that I'm using my where I studied my universities. So it will locations of that. Here I'm using some input type of that my BTech degree, where I did the board or university. The options are there: India, Australia, where is it is, locations, and so on. Here my did my notes, and Here I am using my class called iCall. Attach your resume in the front. If it is means I'm going to attach, if it is any attachment documents it is, so I am using that input type file. So file document, if it is means name file, accept only document or PDF file once it will accept. And at last it's completed, it will show, it will accept, that means it will show it accepted. So value 100 and 100. So now, yeah, and last I'm having that input type submit, it the values of submit button. And also reset, if you want to reset means you can reset that. So I'm going to show you the output. So this is my web page. So it will automatically, the video is started. This is my heading and this is my navigation bar. This is a search bar also that. Here my paragraph off of the page is my paragraph. Off of the page means having some paragraph, and off of the page is video. So now here I'm using some audio tag. Here my footer table, so I'm having contact us and logging here, and my navigations. If it is not registered, so you can go to that. So yeah, where it's coming. So create a new account. So first name, middle name, last name, date of birth. So gender, here I'm using a radio buttons. So it's here automatically it will come date functions. If it is an address, cities means only some other cities, and state means it's some options. So it will be showing the options. Pin code maximum 6 numbers only, and telephone number, mobile number, email number, websites, and educational details. I'm here using some, I told you that, so it will showing some errors. So board universities are countries, some other country will be coming. So like in starting here I am ending, it will become maximum percentage at minimum 50, more than I don't know, that's of now. Here if you want to attach a file means only PDF or doc file will become. If it is a how much it's completed will show here. If it is submitted means submitted, no, because I didn't submit anything. So then if it is reset means, if you want to click reset means it'll refresh the page. So thank you for watching, thank you so much.